Hey, we're just out here grazing goats. This is our setup for getting the fence line cleaned up. Um, the goats are just tethered, and then there's a container of water next to them. And this was tall, like this area right here, when they got started today. And now, she's cleaned the area up quite a bit. She can't reach all of this down here, just because I didn't want her to end up in the roadway because the road is right here. So I kind of put her a little further up, and so they all kind of have the same amount of space, and they're all along the fence line here doing their thing. Um, there's three of them all together over here. And she's just relaxing. Just relax. So the sweet babies, and there's the Billy Billy. There he is. He's been doing his thing today. So I just come out every now and then to check on them and make sure that they're doing good, that they're not, in direct sunlight for very long as the sun is moving across the horizon, and just, making sure that there's still water in the pails so they haven't knocked them over, and that nobody's all tied up and unable to move around. So, and if they are, we just take care of it right then. Um, this one's on the other side of the fence. It's so pretty with the wildflowers behind her. They're all waiting to get milked, so they're looking at me like, it's time, right? And this is the Billy Billy. He's got a longer lead, so that's why his bowl is down there, or his container. But yeah, here he is. And he is gorgeous, but he is our most skittish goat. So it's whenever we picked him up, he hadn't been handled really because they were in the process of selling their herd off, and so he kind of grew up kind of hands off with his mama, and so he's not a very friendly goat. I've gotten him now to where he'll take treats out of my hands, so, and then he doesn't try to run away at this point, but I really don't give him much of an opportunity, because if I tell you that it's like in a little pig to get him out of their pasture, and it was a small place, like they had a small area, but they were grazing, if I understand correctly, they were grazing every day, and they were not feeding anything, and they were making it. And these goats, like, they weren't skinny or anything like that, but and then they were breeding for disease resistance and parasite resistance. So he's got good genetics, good genetics, but they were finished with goats at that point, and so it was a little hard on him to leave there and come here. But he's doing so good now. Before, he would run. When I walk up to him, he would just take off running as if I was gonna, I don't know, eat him alive. No idea. But he does such a great job now, and he hangs out with us instead of running from us. So that's nice, because I want all of them to want to come instead of, running from us. So here's the other goat, and she didn't come with him. She was one of our first, and then this one came with, and then this bit mama right here came with them also, and then the other ones over here where we just were, they all came together except for Billy Billy. Billy Billy, he came with himself. I picked him up from a lady up the street who traded him for some meat. So I had lots of meat, and so I just traded her for her Billy. And I would have given her everything for free, but she had that she was trying to find another area for. And so, because he was breeding her goats and she wasn't wanting babies, and so since she wasn't wanting babies, the billy had to be tied up consistently, and she didn't like how that felt, which I completely understand, because I wouldn't want to have one of my animals tied all the time either. So that helped. That helped me to get a billy, a really good billy, a really big billy, for, nothing, basically, because I really would have given her, the 50 pounds of meat or whatever it was for free. So here's the garden area. This is pokeweed. I know y'all know what that is, at least some people do, but these are those greens that our grandparents used to eat, and they had to boil them and pour off the water in order to make sure that they weren't toxic. And then these, the berries, people say that you can use them for arthritis. I'm not a doctor, but we've used it before, so that's my first-hand experience. I planted some more squash right up in here, just so that we have some more coming. When we get down the line a little bit, you'll be able to see that I've had some growing for quite some time now, but this Texas heat will knock some things out, I tell you. So since the Texas heat is so brutal, it's good if we can make sure that we have a succession going. So most days I try to come out and plant something. So that's why these fresh squash are out here, while I have these big ones going too. And you can see the flowers down in here. Hey Sonia, hi Emma, thank you for joining me. These are scarlet runner beans, and so they are absolutely beautiful, and I like being able to see them like climbing up the trees and things like that. Now, I don't know if you all saw in my other short, but let me tell you that these tomatoes are absolutely, so this is about my height. Wait, maybe like right here. This is about my height. And these tomatoes are all the way up this tree, and they just keep going and going and going. And they're really productive. Like, I'm consistently getting tomatoes out of here. You can see I've got plenty down there on the bottom. I have enough to make a spaghetti dinner for my children most days of the week if I was to choose to do that. But there are so many in here, and they're usually like down under everything. And then I have lots of flowers coming all the way up the tree. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about being able to just produce something every day, So yes, absolutely, a salad is definitely on the menu. And there's lots of different greens that we can use out here. Like, I've learned that you can use these pepper plants. The greens are edible, and we throw those in salads, and they're really mild. They don't have a strong flavor like some of the kales and cruciferous vegetables. So it's really good, and the kids will eat it up. So it's good stuff. Now, my dahlias are finally coming up. Now, you have to plant your flowers with your vegetables so that you get an abundance of different things consistently coming out, and then also to make sure that the pollinators are getting what they need. So that's one of my flowers, but there's plenty of other ones, and then there's native wildflowers, of course, growing all over the place and all through the fields back there. There's some kale, and let's see, check out this squash. The squash is making its way up and over on this tree too, and that's a winter squash. Squash just does better because the squash vine borer is not as as effective at penetrating the winter squash. I'm doing good. It's hot out here though. But that's a part of being in Texas. And you know what? I'm grateful that we're able to be out here, because I tell you, any number of things could have happened and we wouldn't have been able to walk out here today and to see, what's coming up in the garden. So definitely a blessing every time we're able to come out. Here's some more of these peppers. That looks like a good bell. There's a couple of them there. And then the plant goes further back here. Sometimes I'll look up and suddenly there's red bell peppers that I didn't even notice were out here, but they stand out now, you know? And that's great. Check out these purple ones. So I know you guys, if you're gardening, you've seen these in the store and you're like, wow, purple bell peppers, I want to grow those. In my opinion, they taste terrible. I don't know why we've decided that we want purple bell peppers, but they're kind of bitter. They're not delicious. They're not. And when they're ripe, I feel like any ripe vegetable should be absolutely delicious. So that's why there's so many on this plant. It's because nobody in my house wants to eat them. So I intentionally cook with it just so that it doesn't go to waste. I don't want anything at all that I've put my hands on and I've fertilized and mulched and tended to. I don't want anything going to waste. So that's what we're out here doing. Here's some more squash. There's a butternut squash right here on the ground. So I'm going to wait until it's all the way hard. You can still kind of pierce it if I tried hard enough. So it's not solid just yet, which means that it won't last very long if I pluck it right now. So just wait on it. Here is my globe artichoke coming up. I planted it from seed. There's plenty more of them. This one just happened to come up right here. I planted a whole row of them last year. Unfortunately, yeah, they just didn't make it. They just didn't. So since that's what was happening with them, I just, when I saw this one come up, I was excited. And it came up probably in February. It lasted all the way through the winter and then popped up. So that's wonderful. Now this one, I think I told somebody about this one before. It says poblano, but we know that those are those delicious sweet sauteing peppers. What are they called? Shisas? I don't know. But it's an Asian sauteing pepper, and it's absolutely delicious. My son is 3. He comes out and he'll eat them like straight out of the garden. And I love when he does stuff like that. It just makes me feel like, okay, I did my job. I gave him a good, healthy meal that he is enjoying thoroughly. This dill is doing its thing. I can't wait until we get some dill seeds. And I was hoping to get a monarch butterfly on it this year. And I haven't seen one yet, or a swallowtail. I haven't seen one yet, so I'm holding out and hoping that eventually I get one. Let's see. Here's my eggplant. Y'all, I didn't know if I liked eggplants or not, but now that I've grown it, it's delicious. There's no bitterness to it like you get when you get them from the store. And sometimes there's a little bitterness, and then also the skin can be kind of tough in the grocery store. These eggplants are delicious. And I literally just cut them up, and I'll saute some tomatoes and onions, and then throw the eggplants in there, and it's delicious. There's some paste tomatoes down there. There's lots of vegetables growing, so I'm really excited about it. Here's some more bell peppers doing their thing. Y'all, I was living in an apartment for so long, and I was growing my salad and my vegetables on the patio on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. And I don't want you all to think that I am here and I've always lived on land. I've always been able to grow things out here. I wasn't. I was sitting on a patio, tending to my salad greens in a Rubbermaid tote. So I'm not new to the game. I've been doing it since I was maybe 17. I'm in my late 30s now, but it's not easy. It's not easy making those steps and making your way through the journey of having your own property, your own vegetables, and being able to provide for your family the way that you want to. It's hard, but once you get there, it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. I think the work is a lot harder than a lot of YouTubers make it out to be. There's a pepper. That's going to be really good and really sweet. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. If your why is in place and you're excited about what you're doing, it's worth it. So here are my black eyed peas. And I saute these in vegetables and do my thing with them, with some eggs or whatever it might be, and they are so good. Now, I'm not going to bore you with taking you all the way down to the rest of the garden and then on the back side of the house. I'm going to end this video right here with these black eyed peas because these are the rescue vegetable of the garden right next to okra. The greens are edible. We can cook those up with eggs or, throw it in anything that you need something green in or eat them by themselves. But the green beans can be eaten as green beans. And then when it grows out and you have the large peas inside, then you can shell them out as fresh peas, or you can dry it out, and then you can have some dried peas. Save your own seed though, because they grow like crazy, and they grow really, really well if you plant your own seed. So the first year it may be a little straggly, but that second year it's coming for you, and it's going to make a statement. So